How's it going, everyone? Akibana Zero here, riding the internet waves, coming right at you with another RWBY analysis video. It's a beautiful day here in Sexard, Hungary, where I've been for the past 10 days. I still here, still working hard, still studying, still doing teaching practice and all that stuff. It's been kind of crazy. It's been kind of unreal, but yeah, looking forward to being back from next weekend and getting back into everything that I've been doing. So yeah, what I didn't really want to wait any longer to make this video, which is why I'm doing it on my phone. I really don't have any equipment with me right now, so I really apologize if the quality isn't what you've been coming to expect from me. But I really needed to get this analysis done, and also gives me an opportunity to try out Adobe's new video editing software on my phone. So let's get this underway. So Rooster Teeth dropped on us a Volume 6 trailer, and there's a lot of stuff to unpack from this 1 minute and 23 seconds that it is. So let's get right on into it. So right off the bat, we're seeing vistas, we're seeing shots of what apparently is Atlas, basically the land of Atlas, because it's all snowy, and the girls are walking through snowy plains, and they're probably cold, I don't know, whatever, and yeah, they're obviously heading towards Atlas, which is what we knew that they were, where we knew that they were going anyway. Right off the bat, what we see here is that it's the girls, and with Crow and with Oscar Ozpin, and there's another person who's on Yang's bike, and I have no idea who this person is. I have never seen him or her or whatever on the show before. We've seen another shot of this character later on in the trailer as well. So this person must be of some kind of importance. If you guys have any idea, any guesses of who it might be, please let me know in the comment sections below. But I'm not entirely sure. You guys seem to be a lot better at this than I am. Right. But right off the bat, what I have to comment on this is that the girls are finally back together, and this is something that we've been hoping for a while now, that the girls are back together and they're going through adventures together, and I'm glad this is happening, actually, because it's been one of my big wishes for Volume 6. It's always been about Team RWBY. We always wanted Team RWBY to be together. It's always fun to see them interacting with each other, developing that group dynamic that they have. One thing that I found particularly interesting was when they're walking through the snow, the only person who's seemingly wearing something for the cold is Weiss, who has this red scarf around her neck that might be of some kind of significance. But I found it pretty interesting that she's from Atlas, and yet she's the one who felt that needs to wear something around her neck, even though everybody else just seems to be wearing their regular attire. Next interesting shot is from what might be the White Fang headquarters throne room, where there's just a bunch of White Fang strewn across the floor, dead. Immediately what jumped out to me in that scene was that this is probably Adam's doing. Maybe Adam just has started going off the rails, which has been one of the things that I've predicted for Volume 6 when it comes to Adam, that he's just going to completely lose his mind. He's just going to go completely off book. Not that he had a book to begin with. And yeah, just start going bananas. So there's also a shot of him on the throne screaming, "No!" and all of that stuff. And I do feel that this is kind of signifying to us that he's really starting to completely turn here. He's just completely losing his mind, and for good reason, right? I mean, everything that he's ever he has been going through that process where it's all becoming about violence, all becoming about his desire to kill and to be on top of everything, and now that nobody is backing him up, there's nothing left. It's fight or flight, and I guess he chooses to fight in his own Adam way. One other interesting shot is when there's this group of people who I have no idea who they are. At first I thought they might have been Faunus, but I don't know. After closely examining this shot, I kind of felt that they might be some other faction or some other village or whatever, but they seem to be revering somebody. And at first I thought that this might have been Arthur Watts, but after looking at a few pictures of Arthur Watts, it doesn't seem he doesn't seem to have those aren't his shoes. That's not his jacket. Of course, maybe he has other clothes. Who knows? But I have no idea who this person might be. The next best guess I could probably have is that this might be Ironwood, but I'm having my doubts about that as well, because this guy seems to be floating, and that could be a possibility, knowing that it could be a possibility that Ironwood has this ability to levitate or whatever, but I don't know. I have no idea who this is, so let me know what your guesses are for this character, because I'm right. I really have no idea here at all. Now, throughout the first half of the trailer, we were hearing Salem talking seemingly to somebody about going against her. Essentially, that is essentially what she is saying, and we do find it does kind of seem from the follow-up shots that she is talking to Emerald. Now, we all knew that Emerald's allegiances lay with Cinder, but now that Cinder is probably dead, or seemingly dead, or whatever, anyway, to Emerald, she's probably dead, it seems that she's having some issues with Salem now, because we see her in a shot where she has her guns out, Salem is saying what she is saying, and then Tyrion comes up into her face. It comes up into Emerald's face, and it just basically might mean that Emerald is now going against Salem in some shape or form. And that's going to be very interesting because, like I said earlier, it's her loyalties lay with Cinder. So she has no reason anymore to if Cinder is dead, Emerald really may not have a reason to follow in Salem's plans. So we'll have to see what that is all about. That's gonna be pretty interesting, because I've always figured that Emerald, without Cinder, might decide to join in the fight against Salem somehow, maybe as revenge, maybe as a means to redeem Cinder or redeem herself in some shape or form. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But for me, it's all very interesting that this is happening, and I thought that was probably one of the more interesting story arcs that we might see in Volume 6, this character development of Emerald. There's a bunch of other shots of other characters. There seems to be this other faction that's wearing purple. There are these three people who are, one of them sitting in a chair, and they're talking to somebody. At first I thought that might have been Blake, but it seems that, like, after looking at it carefully, the person with their back to the camera doesn't seem to be Blake. I mean, it does look like that's Gamble Shroud's scabbard, but maybe. But I'm not completely convinced of that. One other interesting shot is where we get to see Ozpin or Oscar, who knows which of the two personalities that might be, pleading for something. And the girls are turning around, they're looking at him, he's on the ground, something's going on there. Somebody, like, is he dying? Are the two personalities, two souls merging? Something is going on over there. Something very interesting is going on with Ozpin. It could probably be bad. And this is kind of also reinforced from the last shot where we have the four girls with Crow. Ozpin is no longer there. Ozpin is no longer there, and Ruby says, they ask Ruby what's the plan, and she says, don't let anybody else die. So that makes me wonder, does this mean that Oscar is gonna die, or Ozpin is gonna die, or the body's just gonna die, and then Ozpin is just gonna have to find another body? Who knows? Maybe these two shots are not complete. They're not related. Who knows? But I just found it very interesting that you have that shot with Oscar pleading, and then you've got that shot with Ruby saying, don't let anybody else die, and Oscar's no longer there. So we'll have to see what that is. That's gonna probably be very interesting. The whole idea of Oscar and Ozpin has been one of the very convoluted aspects of the show. So, because we know that Ozpin just keeps changing bodies, and he kind of assimilates the soul of the person he takes over with his own, and that's how the whole Oz person, let's call him, kind of develops throughout the years, throughout the centuries. So let's see what happens with that. And finally, the second half of the trailer has a lot of action in it. There's a lot of fighting going. There's a lot of segments of fighting going on. You see Ruby flying around in her petal burst kind of thing. And the very, very interesting part of this is that you also see them doing that fight on the train where they're fighting these Grimm. There's also a part where she's doing a petal burst and there's a white cloud intertwined with her. So that makes me wonder: is this a new attack? Where a new attack with Weiss? Is this her fighting somebody else who can do a similar ability? I thought that was really cool looking, regardless, and that kind of signifies to me that they're really thinking about combat. And we see other shots of combat. We see Ren spinning Nora around. That kind of signifies another kind of attack over there. We've all been expecting to see lots and lots of combat. We're hoping for much more combat, more creative combat. I think quality over quantity, as always, is something that needs to be applied here. But yes, hopefully all of these things mean that we get to see more of the combat that we're used to with RWBY in the earlier seasons. That's going to do it for my analysis, guys. So what do you think of the trailer? What are your thoughts on it? What are you hoping? Who do you think these mysterious characters that we're seeing all of a sudden are? Please let me know by leaving a comment in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this analysis, please leave the video a like and subscribe to my channel by mashing on that subscribe button, because it helps a lot. I'd like to thank my patrons, as always, for supporting the channel, and you can do the same by hitting up patreon.com/Akibana0. Also, remember to join our little Discord family by hitting up the invite link in the description below. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. I'm going to catch you next time.